Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for September 1st. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and I'm here today to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother 26 live feeds. It was day 47 in the house, and what a sick, nasty day that we need to talk about. With me to talk about it is AJ. How you doing, AJ?
I'm doing great, Taran. Always happy to do an update. Yesterday was not the most exciting day, but we're here to make it fun.
We're gonna make it fun. Well, we did have a veto competition. We have a veto winner, and some talk of what the plans are with that veto. I was really hoping that somebody would win the veto that would use the veto, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about if that happened.
Mhm.
All right. Well, of course, as you know, Quinn is the HOH. He nominated Angela, Chemo, and Rubina for eviction. Rubina, the initial target, quickly shifted to Angela, but Quinn has no plans for a replacement nominee. So if somebody wins the veto that wants to use it or will use it, that would cause some issues for Quinn. Um,
I
so,
think I
yes.
feel bad for Quinn because he won this HOH and decided he wanted to protect everybody and their mama for some strange reason. I really think he should prepare just in case like it goes wrong. Someone wants the veto and he has to name someone else.
Truly. And I really want to see what happens if you name somebody else. That would be very fun.
Me too, Taran. But I'm here for the best.
So Angela is the target. However, it is worth pointing out that Joseph is becoming a huge house target, um, purely on vibes.
No, it's wild because I remember Joseph will not be talking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you need to talk more. You need to put yourself out there, be more social with people, so people feel better about you. I didn't realize the more he talked, the worse it would get, Taryn. I really did not understand that.
Yeah, they actually said, like, man, he was doing much better when he was not talking to people. He should have just stayed quiet. And you know what? Sometimes it is worth reminding ourselves that
Mhm,
just because something is good generally doesn't mean it's good for a person. Like, for instance, if Joseph is not talking to people and we're saying, well, that's causing him some problems in the game, then
mhm.
we should consider the fact that Joseph talking to people, like specifically Joseph, could also cause more problems in the game.
I think we just need to learn that Joseph knew himself better than we knew him. And he was like, I understand my liabilities.
Truly. I think that's exactly what it was, AJ. Um, so uh so everyone is still annoyed at Joseph. That is very much the case. Um and they're going to be talking about Joseph throughout the day.
Mhm,
There's going to be a specific incident that we will get to, but we there's a lot of talk. He's still talking to Chelsea. Chelsea is
mhm.
annoyed. Chelsea tells MJ. Joseph was telling Quinn apparently that me and him were on the same intellectual level when it comes to mental competitions. Like, uh, who are you? Like, he's still sleeping in Tucker's sweaty, unwashed sheets. He was bragging about how he's never been nervous during a ceremony because he's always in a good position. Like, get out of here.
Like it's one thing to be doing good in the game, but then to be bragging throughout the house to people like you're doing such a phenomenal job at this game, especially when you ain't. Like you're boo boo the fool, my dude. Like you're making Chelsea clown on you. And let me tell you something, I love it. I love it when Chelsea hates someone. It's such good content.
Yes. So Chelsea's going to be ranting and raving in the morning. Later on, there's going to be a
Mhm,
big session between Quinn, Cam, and MJ as they
mhm,
talk about Joseph. It's the talk of the house that Joseph is very annoying.
mhm.
And if there were to be a replacement nominee, Chelsea thinks it should and could be Joseph. Quinn obviously would prefer not to do Joseph, and quite
Mhm,
frankly, if really many other people in this house were HOH, it probably would be Joseph this week.
mhm.
But luckily for him, it is Quinn and not anybody else. So just stay tuned with the Joseph story.
No, truly, and we'll get to this later. What Quinn's plan was if he had to use a replacement nom, which was extremely triggering for me. But we don't talk about that. Well, we will soon. But like Joseph is literally so lucky that Quinn is who he is because everything about Quinn should be like, put Joseph up. This guy has been an asshole to you, straight to your face. It's not even like he was talking behind your back. To you, he was telling you how much he sucks, that he can beat you up. But yet you're like, you know what? That's an ally of mine. You know what? I want to protect him. We can go down to the end. When literally almost anyone else would like say, screw Joseph, he can go on the block and probably could go home.
And honestly, like, there's this notion that Joseph would be a vote for Quinn on the jury. I'm not like 100% on that. Like Joseph talks a lot about how Quinn sucks at the game. Like he genuinely feels like Quinn is a bad player. And that's not great.
Like, and I understand Quinn is nervous about Angela being on the jury because of their past. They've had a bad past, full stop. And there's a non-zero chance that she is taking up one of the final two spots. Quinn, I don't see you getting to the final two right now. And if you get to the final two, I feel like it's going to be uphill battle anyway. So personally, for me, I think Quinn played this HOH wrong. That's a me thing. Like, keep people in the house that you can like win your way to the end and earn that kind of respect. Versus like keeping up someone like Chemo and Rubina who are capable in comps, very social people that people do like, that has higher priorities than you. And if they win HOH, Quinn, you're in danger, my friend. But what do I know? I'm just watching the show.
Yeah. Well, Joseph and Leah are picked to play in the veto. Once again, Joseph is playing. Happens all the time. Happens every time.
No, but it it does. But the psychotic thing is, once again, Joseph was picked. He wasn't like for the freaking bit. What do you mean? Like an Angela of all people. Like if I was Angela, I would be like, my game ain't great. I'm not in a good position. So let me at least pick someone that I feel like there's a possibility they can use the veto on me. Not Joseph, who's over here, going with the win, thinking he's masterminding everything.
Like, I mean, here's the thing though. Who would use the veto on Angela?
I think your best bet is Leah.
I agree. So
pick Leah.
You could pick Leah and hope that she uses the veto on you.
Mm-hmm.
Second most likely is basically nobody. But Joseph, Joseph at least is like kind of wanting Angela to stay more than most people in the house right now. And also, he's going to throw it. And or can't win it anyway.
Yeah.
Which is helpful.
Sure, it's helpful to Angela, but I think it's better to have a possible 2 in 6 chance of winning than a guaranteed 1 in 5 chance of winning.
That is true. That is good math.
Listen, I know mathematicians. I know numbers. I did science once. Well, math.
Also, for what it's worth, if you choose Leah and she does win, she's a little more likely to use it on you because you picked her. She has a little bit more of an excuse to the rest of the house, and she has a little bit more obligation. So there's a little bit of that there as well. Okay, so in the meantime, MJ and Chelsea, they're going to talk more about Joseph, but then they start talking about how cool it would be if they made it to the end. What if like the three of us, you, me, Cam, made it to the final 3, says MJ. Wait. Even cooler. What if it was the 2 of us in the final 2? 2 women in the final 2? Could you imagine? Not just 2 women, 2 women of faith. We have to do it. We have to.
Like, I give all the praise to Chelsea. Like, she's a top tier person on the season. Like, full stop. Because she is putting in the FaceTime with MJ. Like, today you see her along with MJ a lot. They're talking, chit-chatting. And the fact that she's willing to go to the final 3, at least to Chelsea's face with her and Cam, that's so beautiful for Chelsea. Because that means she is in so many pots that, like, I think besides Joseph and Angela, everyone else wants her in the end game, which honestly 5 stars. And also
watch out for Leah if you're Chelsea, but yes.
Oh, yes, Leah too. You're right. Yeah, you're right about that one.
But no, but your point still stands.
Yes, I was making a good point. And I think it's also good for MJ because as if you can rebuild what you had with Chelsea back when Brooklyn was in the house, like that's a number that's riding for you because MJ is actively lacking allies. So if she can be like Chelsea, I'm your side piece, I'm your number two, especially having Chelsea and Cam who could win these physical competitions, like that's a good place to nuzzle herself in while also like spreading her wings out with people like Leah and still doing good work with Quinn. So I do like this from Mackenzie as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I just again, this is what we've been talking about the last couple of days.
Mhm.
Quinn's plan to possibly pull MJ in just leaves this entire structure vulnerable to Chelsea, who is getting in there with MJ
Mhm.
earlier and better than Quinn is, and that's very dangerous. People are like, "Oh man, Taran, why are you criticizing Quinn's play?" Well, I'm just pointing out what is literally the next day it happens, and you're like, "Oh man, stop." Sorry, I'm telling the truth. The truth will prevail, you know? It's biblical.
No, truly.
Um,
And I really wish Quinn was like playing his HOH better. And I'm pretty sure we'll talk about more about his alliances that he wants to make and stuff. But like he's not putting in the work for people to feel good about him. Like so many people feel iffy about Quinn, where I don't see Quinn having longevity. Like he should have used this power to solidify like a solid small group. Like stop trying to put everyone in the house inside of one alliance. Like a small group of people that's going to willingly ride for you deep in the game. Because Quinn has shown that he can win competitions, that he's a capable player. And if he's able to get into the end, especially after the rough start he has, that's a great story for him. But I just think Quinn is like doing it all wrong, especially canoodling with Leah. But that's a different story.
mhm. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we get to the veto competition.
Oh, I love it.
And once again, the players are the three nominees, Angela, Chemo, Rubina, the HOH Quinn, as well as Leah and Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
If any of the nominees win, of course, they're taking themselves off the block. If Quinn wins, he's
Correct.
not using it.
Correct.
If Joseph wins, he's not going to because he's throwing everything.
Mhm.
If Leah wins, we don't know.
The question mark.
And wouldn't you know it, Leah wins.
I am so happy. I'm so excited because there could be drama that can come from this. If Leah like decides that Angela's a good for me, because let's call it spade a spade. Like Angela's only good with Leah right now. So like Leah, I think it's like great for her to use this power to wield it and then put herself in a better position. And what's Quinn going to be like? No, the girl I have a crush on. Don't do it. This is going to ruin our relationship. Like I think this is like a good win for Leah to have, especially because we saw the last time someone used the veto on Angela. Like it didn't end well with that person, but it worked for a long period of time.
You get at least a few weeks out of it, which is pretty
Exactly.
good.
Exactly. A few weeks at the final 9, I would take that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this puts Leah in an interesting position, as you're saying. Like,
Mm,
obviously, Angela in the game is a lot better for Leah than
mm,
Rubina or Chemo in the game.
mhm,
Specifically, Chemo. Chemo is the
mhm,
person that she would like to target the most.
mhm,
But with Angela sitting there, it's kind of difficult. So there are a couple of ways that you can go about it. If you have enough social swing, you can use the veto as leverage to get the house to shift their target onto Chemo.
mhm,
Like, hey, I could use the veto, but nobody really wants to do that. But nobody
mhm,
really cares that much about which of these three go home. So what if I would really prefer it would be Chemo that leaves. So
mhm,
what if in exchange for not using the veto, we kind of shift the target to Chemo? You don't say those words, but you kind of go through the conversations and get it in that direction. It's what she was trying to do in her conversation with Quinn, which we'll talk about soon. Um,
mhm,
the other method, of course, is just straight up use the veto on Angela, force a
mhm,
renom, and that could shift the target. The problem with using the veto is that you might piss off Quinn,
mhm.
but will you
Mm,
really?
mm, mm.
Will you really at this point? Um,
Especially you, Leah.
right. Second problem the
Mhm.
more present the more present problem
Mhm.
is that even though people are associating Leah with Angela, um, if she uses the veto on Angela to save her, it really cements in people's minds, like, okay, Leah and Angela are a duo. And Quinn's going to make this argument, and it's not a bad one, that
Mhm.
if they are that closely associated, then you could very easily see Leah and Angela go up on the block together, where Leah is very clearly the target. Um,
Mhm.
so, it definitely shoots Leah up on the target threat list a bit higher if you feel like she not only now can win competitions, but she also has a guaranteed follower in
Mhm.
Angela. Um, but again, think about it. You have a guaranteed follower in Angela.
Mhm.
You also still have guaranteed followers in Joseph and Quinn.
Mhm.
There's only 9 people left. That's a
Mhm.
4-person follower group. Like that's pretty good.
Like that is so good. That is a really good group to have. And not only that, like here's the thing. So what if Leah and Angela are viewed as a duo? This is a house of duos. People are being like, you can't bring anything with Chelsea unless you want Cam as well. You can't bring Tico in it because she's going to run straight to chemo with it. Like these and Chemo, and Rubina. I broke for a second.
You did.
Those three are a trio, and everyone sees it. So of all the duos and trios on the list, like I'd be least scared of Leah and Angela. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like Angela might yell at you. Oh my god. Whoa.
Yeah, and I mean, so from my perspective, if this were anyone but Angela, it's a complete no-brainer. Uh, the fact that it is Angela does give me some pause. Like, how valuable is Angela as a follower? Again, you can maybe get a couple of weeks out of her, but at what point does she then try to turn the whole house against you? That is like, um, so like there are some
Mhm.
potential downsides here, but Leah doesn't exactly have a lot of other options.
Like if
It's
this was
not.
like T Core or Chelsea
Yeah.
in this position, I'd be like, no, stay away. You got other avenues you can explore. Angela is an active dynamite. You do not want that in your hand. Leah's not in the greatest spot in the world. Like she's not like have guaranteed longevity in this game. So if this can propel her a few more weeks so she can build something else, especially with people like Joseph and Quinn protecting her, go for it. Like what do you have to lose?
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that, like, at this point, if you're looking at like who can Leah beat in a final two scenario right now, Angela's definitely one of those people.
Mhm,
Um, who else could she maybe beat? Maybe Quinn, maybe Joseph right now. So those are two
mhm,
other great options. Um, could she beat MJ? I don't know. T-Core is talking about how she really
mhm.
respects MJ lately. And that matters because I guarantee you T-Core is going to have heavy influence on this jury. Um,
Like true, if T Core is on this jury, T Core will decide who wins this game. Full stop. Like there's not a question about it.
I think that is for sure true if she's there with both Rubina and Chemo.
Mm,
It is probably true if one of them leaves before the jury. Because
mm,
if she has 3 votes on a 7-person jury and it's T-Core and she has a lot of persuasion power to begin with, she's
mhm,
deciding who wins. If she has 2 votes guaranteed on the jury of 7,
mhm.
she still has a good chance of having a lot of influence over who wins. So this is important to say, and I'll mention this now,
Mhm,
that T-Core spends a lot of the day talking about how she's really come to respect MJ as a player,
mhm.
and she would vote for her to win if she was there in the end. Now, she also says the same of Chelsea, so it would be very funny if the two of them were in the final two together. I would still lean she votes Chelsea unless Chelsea continues to burn that bridge.
Mhm,
However, watch out for MJ in the final
mhm.
two.
Like
Um,
like Chelsea has like we're saying like she's playing a good game and it's not hidden to anybody. Well, it may be hidden to Joseph, but besides Joseph, it's not hidden to anybody that Chelsea's playing a really good game and is a really strong player. So it's that respect fact that you have. MJ has low key in I think the minds of people like T-Core in the game, low key like that Taylor arc where she was like such an outcast and such at the bottom for such a long part of the game that if she's able to like find her footing and get to the end and win her way there, like how can you not respect the story? I think the story against Chelsea, I still think the story loses because Chelsea also has a good story, like being in power, losing the power, and then rising from the ashes. Like, love the story too. So,
Yeah. So here's the deal with Leah. I think she should use it. I think she should use it. I think she should try to get her army of simps together.
Mhm.
And think
Her
about it.
army of Sims. Oh my gosh.
Delayed reaction on that one. Uh, think about it. If they were to make the final four somehow, I think every single one of them takes her to the final two.
I agree.
I think I don't think she needs to worry about Quinn or Joseph cutting her for Angela, because I think both of them would feel, I probably beat Leah anyway.
Mhm.
So let me take her. And I think she beats both of them. And I think that Angela takes her over Quinn or Joseph.
Mhm.
She's a guaranteed winner if she gets into the end that way. And there's 9 people left after this week. 4 of them would be those people. This is looking okay.
I would not be upset with that. And like, no matter what, like whoever goes home this week, if you save Angela, that's a threat. That's someone who does not have a lot of faith in you, especially if she's able to get Chemo out this week. Oh, that's amazing, because I feel like Chemo is the most likely person to want to target Leah in this house. I think she's right about that.
Okay, so Leah has the veto. MJ would like the veto to be used as well. And this is where it's like, this is working even better. Because unprompted, MJ is already saying she should use the veto on Angela. Let's get T-Core on the block. And Chelsea is like, let's get Joseph on the block. So the second con of the plan of using the veto on Angela, which is that people might look at her as a duo with Angela, already not that big of a deal, because they all kind of want her to use it anyway, because they all have alternative agendas. And so all of a sudden it starts to become, I think, kind of a no-brainer to use this veto on Angela. But Leah isn't sure yet. She still needs to talk to some people. Chelsea does mention that Quinn will probably not want it to be used. So that is something to consider. Of course, not a problem for Leah, but we'll get there. Joseph does tell the cameras that, hey, there at the end, I was thinking I could probably win that thing, but I decided to throw it. So congrats to Leah, though. I mean, super proud of her.
First off, you know what, Taran? I'm gonna say this. I don't believe that man. I believe that man is a liar. I believe he's saying that to bigging himself up. I don't think he was winning. That's the narrative I'm going with.
Oh boy.
But second, like, even if you did throw it, why? Like you do not use the veto, you don't get blood on your hands. Like, it's not that big of a deal, and maybe you can have some power, have some sway for a little bit, and get to wield it to like better your positioning. Because let me tell you, you're in a piss poor position, my friend. So
I don't think he sees it yet.
It's going to be too late when he does.
Mm.
And he's over here like, and you know what? Had it been used, I think Chelsea will be the renom. What makes you think that?
Yeah, I can't believe he thought that.
What?
Okay, well,
I adore people like Joseph. Like, willing to be loud and wrong. I love y'all. I love you.
Leah goes and talks to Quinn, and she says, "Thoughts?" And then this happens.
Thoughts?
You're sick nasty. You're incredible. You looked really cool in yellow. You reminded me of the Minions. I like your smile. You treat people with kindness. You're really funny. You're really, really funny. You're really good at cooking. Your nails are good. Still French. There's a lot. It's just like the word sensational just comes to mind when I think about you.
You're so sweet.
The word sensational. I hate it. 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 I hate it with my entire heart and soul. Like, it's so cringeworthy. Like, to have these feelings for this girl who does not have feelings for you back, and then to lay it all out like that, unprompted, like actively unprompted. I'm like, sir.
That is the key to this, is that she was literally like, thoughts on the veto? Because you're sick nasty. You're incredible. You looked really cool in yellow. You reminded me of the Minions. I really like your smile. You treat people with kindness. You're really funny. You're really, really funny. You're really good at cooking. Your nails look good. Still French. Let me think. There's a lot. There's a lot. It's just like the word sensational comes to mind when I think of you. She goes, "Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, it's crazy."
That's crazy. Not even like appreciate it, bud. Like, oh.
This has instantly become a meme. Like literally, I referenced this in my tweet to point out the thing, and I'm seeing right now one of my mentions already overused. That's how quickly it became a meme. It is less than 24 hours later, and people are saying it's already been overused.
Like, here's the thing. It was overused midway through his little sentence. Like, I'm saying,
that's the whole point. The thing, what he was doing was overused.
Like, every time I hear it, like, I'm like, oh, this is funny. And then I just clench. I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Why are
I
we
mean, AJ,
here?
I do want to tell you,
Hit me.
you look really good in yellow.
I know I do, but like, that's all
It
Quinn had to
reminds
say.
me of the Minions.
Oh shit. Like, that was the wild thing. It reminds me of the Minions. Like, that's so like not appealing. Like, that's like you're like a little blob with one eye. Ooh, in your overalls.
Oh man. And like the thing too is that like
Mhm.
it's not just this, right? Like the entire conversation, the entire relationship, every interaction. Like he just like they're talking. She's like her body language when they speak, she's always like moving away from him.
Mhm.
Like it's just it's so bad. It's like how does he not see it, you know?
Like, yeah, that's the bad thing. Because it'll be one thing if it's just like we're like, he doesn't even know. She don't even like him like that. But she basically has a sign that says, "Please stop, but stay away."
Well, so here's the deal. And this is partially why I think that Leah is starting to really open up as a player is that like she's clearly starting to recognize the value
Mhm.
of
Thoughts? You're sick nasty.
right?
Yeah.
And use it to her advantage. And instead of like making it clear to everyone and giving them ammunition that they could use against her, she is now starting to like actively use Quinn and Joseph and Angela in the game, and that makes her a very dangerous player all of a sudden.
Mhm. I think I can agree with that. If you harness the powers of the army of simps, that's the deadly combination of people to have. Like, you see some of these people thirsting after some of these folks on the show. It's gross. It's and you have 3 of them in the house with you. Bless your soul. Bless your soul.
So they have a long conversation about who to target, whether the veto should be used. She mentions that she thinks, and they come back to this later as well. But she thinks that Angela could be a number for her. He
Mhm.
talks about how he originally felt like he should target Rubina, but then he realized that Rubina is already a target, and so Angela is the better target because nobody's really targeting Angela. She says basically that she's concerned about chemo because he's coming after her.
Mhm.
And Quinn's like, that's fair, but I don't really think it's a feasible target. I think it would be tough to get chemo out. And she wonders what he would do for the renom if she did use it. He says he's not really sure. He would
Mhm.
probably want some volunteers, or you know what? Maybe we could just pull some Skittles.
What? What?
know, AJ, the classic Skittles strategy.
I hate the classic Skittles strategy. Like, that's the worst freaking strategy. Y'all remember the gummy bear strategy? How did that work out?
I think we need to officially include this in the prep video for Big Brother is learn how to cheat like a Skittle and or gummy bear draw because it could come quite in handy. I don't know how. I know a magician could probably do it, so just learn sleight of hand or something. I don't know.
But like here's the wild thing. I expect more from Quinn. Like, you're supposed to be a student of this game. You're supposed to know better. And yet you're over here like, let's leave it to chance. That's just Skittle. And I understand he's over here like, he doesn't want to hurt anyone else's feelings because he wants to be in alliance with everyone else. You think people gonna feel good about you? You're not a decisive person at that point in time. You're not going to stand on your word. You're not going to stand for something. You're just going to run and hide from consequences of your actions. That's not an ally someone wants. That's not someone people can have trust and faith in. And how do you think Tico's going to feel? She's going to be like, oh, screw my 2 allies, but everyone else, who cares?
Oh man, I still can't believe Big Brother Canada 10 happened.
Like, BB Can't was a gift to all of us, baby.
Leah's not sure what she's going to do with the veto. She doesn't really come to a conclusion there, and really doesn't come to a solid conclusion yet in general. She is still a bit up in the air on what she will do. So stay tuned for more Leah decision making.
I'm low-key surprised there wasn't more, jockeying today of like, hey, Leah, use the veto on me.
I mean, yeah, certainly. I mean, from Chemo and Rubina, there was basically nothing. But we'll see.
All right. Well, I guess.
Tore does try talking to Chelsea about Quinn. Like, hey, I'm not really feeling Quinn, but Chelsea defends Quinn. She says, I think that Quinn is good for our games. I think he's someone that we should keep around. Like, a potential Final 5 scenario could be good. Chelsea is very much still Team Quinn. She is stealing his pieces, setting herself up for success. But if she has a blind spot, it may be Quinn. She is a little too defending of Quinn, perhaps, given how dangerous Quinn can be to basically anybody's game. But at the same time, it's certainly helping her this week while Quinn is HOH. And when Quinn talks to Tore is like, oh, Chelsea is really sticking up for you. She's really looking out for you. She's saying lots of good things, which is very good for Chelsea, at least in the short term.
I agree. I think it's fair. I think Chelsea should stick up for Quinn at this point in time. Well, it's not like she's just being like full-throated, like, no, 100% we could trust him at X, Y, and Z. It's like, yeah, he's shady. He's shifty as a person. But like, I believe he wants you at the end, near the end game.
I agree. So this is how I feel, AJ. I think that she should be saying these things right now. I just hope she doesn't actually believe them. Because I do think that while Chelsea is probably the most talented player in the house, or maybe Leah, or not Leah, Tore is, although Leah has some strengths.
I see the potential of Leah, but I need to see some more work from her.
I agree. She's starting to get there now, I think, but she's definitely been sloppy to this point. But I think Chelsea is probably the best player in the house, but she's not without her flaws. That's why she's in the position she is in the first place. And one of those flaws was that she got very complacent with her Pentagon alliance. And I worry that she might feel the same way this time around if she underestimates Quinn's potential for deviousness. So we'll see what happens there. But it might not even matter because her position might be good enough. But who knows?
It might, because so many people want to see Chelsea at the end game right now. Like, she can only mess it up right now. And I'm not saying she can't. Like, she actively can. I've seen people in strong positions do worse this season. But I think Chelsea's like, I think the good thing about Chelsea, and I think Something that's underrated and should be a strategy more people use is to be actively against someone in the house, because she is actively against Joseph and is not hiding it. Like, and she's also like not like this person that's going to fly off the handle. So when people like Chemo and T-Core talking about people they trust, X, Y, and Z, they're like, I don't know what MJ would do if she wins HOH. I don't know what Cam would do if she wins HOH. Oh, she's going to target Joseph. So I feel good about Chelsea. She ain't going to target us. And I think that's part of what makes people feel closer to Chelsea, because she's honest about targets, but it's not like putting me in danger.
Yes. Now, I will say also about Chelsea that there has now been some talk between T-Core and Rubina. Rubina especially starting to feel a little iffy about Chelsea. And I think part of that might be that Chelsea is defending Quinn, and that is not great for either of them, considering that Quinn is nominated to Rubina, and T-Core does not care for Quinn at the moment. But they're also starting to pick up on the fact that like Chelsea, when talking to them alone, feels very different than Chelsea talking to them around other people. And it's something that they're starting to get a little concerned about. So, keep looking out for that as well. I think this is more coming from Rubina than it is T-Core, but T-Core was sort of agreeing with it. Like, I am seeing what you're saying. So we'll see if they ever start to realize that Chelsea is just like not looking out for them the same way that T-Core has been looking out for Chelsea, but who knows? Who knows? All right. So, Joseph talks to Angela.
Okay.
Or I should say Angela talks to Joseph.
Okay.
And she's like, hey, Joseph. Because, again, remember, Angela's close with Leah. Leah's close with Joseph, although she's publicly separating herself right now because he is dropping like a stone in water in the game. And Angela's like, hey, Joseph, I know you're close to Quinn. Like, could you put in a good word for me, essentially? Like, help me out.
Okay.
And
so far, so good.
Joseph, I don't know if you've sort of like experienced this before. Like, you're talking to someone. It kind of reminds me of like in a show, like a really crusty old like dad or grandpa. It's like really grumpy and annoyed all the time at life. And you ask him something, he's like watching football. He's like, go away. Like, I don't, that's the vibe Joseph is giving in this conversation.
Yes.
He's like, Angela, I'm not the one to convince. I'm busy right now. I'm doing my by myself stuff. Okay. And that's the vibe. But he says, hey, listen, I'm not the one to convince. She's like, I just wanted to see if you would be willing to talk to Quinn. Like, he's not going to listen. You've come at him one too many times. I'm not going to convince him. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. There's just no way to convince Leah to take you off the block. She's, I'm not asking that. I mean, you kind of were, right? You were asking me to help you with Quinn, which means, no, that's not even what I was saying. Like, that's not fair.
It gets more interesting, but like it's such a stark difference from the way he was talking to her before the veto even happened and stuff like that. I was like, oh, Joseph is doing good work with Angela. He's trying to be like, okay, I'm one of the people that's looking out for you. And then this came out left field for me personally. I was like, whoa, Joseph.
Yeah, they're pointing that very Logan Roy of him.
Well, here's the thing about Logan Roy. He's not supposed to be a likable character. Like
exactly. I mean, I guess he does kind of see himself as a Logan Roy as well. Like, listen, you come to me. Yeah, The Godfather. You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding. So this conversation does not go well. Very clear.
It goes bad.
Yes, it goes very bad. And they continue to get into how, like, whether she was asking for him to convince Quinn, to convince Leah, and now he's arguing that she was, and she's like, I didn't even say that. She's like, you basically implied it. And so it's like it does not go well. And then like for the next couple of hours in the house, it felt like this is just the talk of the town.
Well, he also told her like she should be lucky that she's even here. like, 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 sir, what the actual gods of heaven? What were you doing? What were you thinking when you said that? Especially Angela of all people. Angela takes small stuff and blow it up. What do you think is going to happen when you actually say something wild and out of pocket to her? Like that, like that was insane of him. Like that's something you think in your head. You don't tell them. Like Leah can still use the beat on Angela, and she could be here. And she, you know what it's going to do? She can remember. She can remember what you said, Joseph.
And this makes it even more important that the veto gets used on Angela, though, because Joseph was probably one of her few potential supporters this week.
Yeah.
Not likely going to be the case anymore.
No.
Yeah. So,
and Joseph, again, I understand you don't know how bad of a spot you're in. Don't throw away allies you could potentially have. Stop it.
It's just so like the game in Joseph's head is just so different. Like I don't know have you if anyone's played Psychonauts, but it was a very fun video game back in the day where you would like enter people's brains and like there'd be a little world of their brain, like the world according to them. And I just can only imagine what Joseph's Psychonauts world like level would look like. If
I just imagine him like on a throne in the BB house and like Leah's feeding him grapes.
Yes, that you have nailed it. So they're both gonna start talking about Joseph is like, oh yeah, I had a great conversation with Angela. Actually, it went fine. And Angela's like, Joseph was so mean to me. And she specifically goes to Leah and she talks to Leah about it. Now Leah's being told left and right that Joseph is just like tanking his game. And she's the one that's like, would he just shut up, please? It was better when he was not talking. So this goes around and, you know, it just further puts a target on Joseph's back. But with Angela being the one on the block, you know, it could theoretically help her if the house feels like Angela is anti-Joseph. You know, you could see a world where that convinces them later on, like, hey, maybe we should just keep her around and take out one of Chemo or Rubina instead. Certainly MJ is looking in that direction anyway. You know, and Chelsea wants Joseph out, and so I think she would love to keep around anybody that's anti-Joseph. So you could see this actually maybe helping Angela in the long run, even though it potentially loses Joseph's vote. But who knows?
And again for Chelsea, if this week we happen to get a snipe of Rubina or Chemo, but more Rubina, that brings her closer to T-Core, I believe.
Yes.
And again, have all the people that want you at the end.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's.
I don't know if I made it obvious this podcast. I'm all in on Chelsea. Full stop.
Would you say she's sick nasty?
I actually would.
All right. Well, Quinn talks to T-Core again. They talk more about the alliance that Quinn wants to create. He basically asks T-Core. He also says, by the way, he says, I think you maybe have the best social game of all time. T-Core.
Not of all time, but like this girl got a top tier social game. Like
it's definitely good.
It's really good.
Listen, the people in their house always think that their thing is like the thing of all time. But like most of them haven't even watched all the seasons. So it's, you know, oftentimes somebody like in their season, they've only seen one other season. They're like, this is the first time this has ever happened, or this is the greatest of all time. And it's
like,
but yes, I think I don't think he's necessarily far off talking about like she's an all-timer social game player. She definitely has very strong pull socially.
like I think if I want to put her like in the S tier instead of the A tier. I would love her to use social influence more. Like that's what I would love. If then I'll be like, okay, this girl has social influence and know how to use it. Now I'm just like, she has it.
It's I think what's interesting about it is that like she is screwing up other things, but the social game is so strong
Mhm,
that she's still kind of fine for now.
mhm.
And that's kind of showing the strength of it. It's really being tested. Like the social game is really being tested.
Because truly, y'all in the audience, how psychotic is it that you're gonna put up two people from this trio, not put up the third member, and then be like, hey, we should all be in alliance together.
Yeah, not only that, but he says to her in this conversation, hey, would you be chill joining the alliance without Chemo and Rubina? I just want you.
Meanwhile, T-Core's over here making sure that man does not win the game under any circumstance.
Like Quinn is like unintentionally operating like an 80s movie bully that's like going up to the crowd of like nerds and being like, we'll take you, but you have to abandon your friends for it. Like,
Whoa.
sorry guys.
But here's the thing. T-Core's a writer for her girls. And for people. She's a writer for Rubina, she's a writer for Chemo. So she ain't gonna take that line down. So you know what? I rock with that part, T-Core. I rock with you.
Yes, she says yes to him in the conversation, but afterwards talks to Rubina about it and is like, I'm not gonna just leave you guys behind. That's such a like, I'm not gonna do that. Which obviously she's not, Quinn. Like, what are you on about? You literally just said she has one of a top tier social game, and you're in the middle of falling for it. Like, I don't understand what's happening. He tells her he loves Chelsea and wants to see her at the end, but he doesn't necessarily want to get there with Cam too. The two of them together are a little dangerous. I don't know why he's telling T-Core this. But maybe he feels like if he says this to T-Core, she'll feel more comfortable in the alliance that he wants to create with her and them. That like, oh, don't worry, I'm not with them. I know that they will need to be broken up. But how about you, like, first things first, make sure she doesn't hate your guts. Might be a good first step in this process.
That would be a great first start. But we have seen from Quinn, this is a pattern. He actively does not check to make sure people actually like him. Like
that is very true. That is his biggest problem in this house. He goes straight. He goes from 0 to 100, and he does not stop to check to see if he has the relationship first.
It's so funny. It's so good. Well, pause actively. It's not good. Wait, it's good for me to watch at home. But as a player, you should do better. Like future better players, learn from Quinn.
Yes, she does call out that like, hey, if you want Joseph in this, like, I don't know if that's gonna work. Everyone hates Joseph now, and he's like, that's fair.
Like everybody and their mama are so over this man. Like,
yeah, Joseph's invitation is getting lost in the mail.
I think as it should be, because I believe Quinn needs to learn something called self-respect and to love himself and not work with people who actively talk bad to them to their face. But that's just me, though.
Yeah, this is the thing. Everyone is correct. MJ's correct. Don't bring in T-Core while you're putting her two allies on the block. And T-Core's correct. Don't bring in Joseph when everyone hates him. Don't do work for Joseph. Just keep him on the outs as a person that is only reliant on you because everyone else hates him. Why help him integrate at this point? It's too late in the game for you to be doing that. I should say the position of the game is not the correct. Like this sort of middle portion of the game is not the time to be integrating somebody into a bigger group. This is the time to be using those people on the outside to craft your end game group. And then, you can sort of like integrate in the way that you need to set yourself up. Like Leah could do with him, Joseph, and Angela.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think I agree. But I think Quinn is low-key getting off scotch-free because Joseph is so outrageous. But like Quinn, But Quinn has the same qualities where he sees the world through his lens and no other lens. And I think that is a bad thing. He's like, oh, of course, why wouldn't T-Core like this position that I'm handing her? It's a good spot for her. When Quinn is a person who will actively turn down positions that's good for him because he didn't like it. And not because it was bad for him, but just because. And then get left out of other ish. Like, Quinn, you actively blindsided this woman a couple days ago. Put her best friends on the block. And y'all think y'all just hunky-dory? Y'all think y'all just good? That's not how things work. That's not how humans work. Like if this was you, Quinn, you know you'd be pissed.
Yeah. Now, I do want to make this clear. Like,
be clear.
Quinn is fine. Like he has power. He has a decent base right now. There's a good chance that Quinn can make a deep run right now. It's just that like his fate changed dramatically when Tucker lost that AI arena competition. And winning HOH was a huge win for him. And he could be doing so much better. And like every interaction he's having, or so many of the interactions he's having, like with Leah, like with T-Core, are just like sinking his chances. And so like, these are things that matter. We're pointing them out right now. It doesn't mean that they're going to completely tank his game immediately, or
Correct.
that he will definitely fail. It's just like when you're talking to T-Core, who hates you right now, and you can't see it, and you're giving her a bunch of info on your current allies, the ones you're relying on to protect you next week. That's a problem, whether it actually happens or not. Like, that's a mistake, right? That's what we're talking about.
Just because you get away with something does not mean you should have done it in the first place. Like, full stop. and again, I'm pressed about Quinn because he should be in a better spot than he currently is. He should be doing better than what he's currently is. You don't see me jumping down Cam's throat. You know why? Because Cam's doing better than what I expected from him. Like,
yeah.
I grade on curse, baby. Do not forget.
All right. Well, Quinn talks to Leah again. He tells Leah, man, Joseph is in some danger. He is talking way too much. He was unnecessarily mean to Angela today. And Leah tries campaigning a bit for Angela to stay again, but Quinn rebuts again, saying Angela's dangerous because if you sit on the block next to Angela, you're definitely going home. And I wouldn't stop crying until finale night if that happened.
Oh, no.
You're sick nasty.
So, anyway, she's still undecided at this point about the veto. It definitely feels like, she's having these conversations with Quinn. She's trying to get Quinn to like be okay with it, but she hasn't really pushed like super hard yet. And if she really wanted to, I think she could, and I think she could get away with it. And there's a full day today where she can talk it over with more people, and again with Quinn, and get a sense of like who the renom would be and all of this stuff. So we'll see. Again, I think she should use it. But the fact that she hasn't pushed super hard yet is perhaps indication that she is feeling pretty hesitant. So I'm not sure. We'll see.
Like, and I agree, because you haven't seen a lot of rebuttals from Leah. Like, she'll bring it up, but it's not like she's fighting for it. Like, she's just like trying to put feelers out there. And I really do think this is an Angela issue. Like, if this was like, say, Tucker or Matt or something like that, she would be more reticent. She's like, yeah, this is a person, this is a fighter. Angela, she's like a little like I love her. Like, she considers me her daughter, but like, that's on Monday. Eviction's on Thursday.
Yeah. Yep. So in the meantime, T-Core still not sold on Quinn, obviously. She talks to Rubina about not wanting to abandon her and Chemo. She's not about that. And screw Quinn if he wants to make an alliance with her that does not include them. So she wants to go in a different direction. But she keeps talking about she would love to just like call Quinn out, expose him on all the alliances that she's been in with him and all that stuff. I don't think that's going to work super well. But she at least does have the forethought of not doing that until at least the renom has already happened. That said, I still don't think she should do that post renom. I think that that's a surefire way to get Chemo or Rubina evicted. So, We'll see. She is quite the procrastinator. She is somebody who says she is going to do things a lot and then doesn't do them. So who knows?
Like T-Core's not a blower upper. Like that's not her play style. That's not her thing. What she would do is like go to like, yo, Cam, come over here. Let me tell you some stuff. Oh, Chelsea, let me tell you this. And then like ruin Quinn's game like slowly but surely, like lethal injection versus like, electrocution.
I was again just a little bit of Cody California in her. Like, oh man, Rubina, hold me back. I'm about to go give it to Quinn. Hold me back, Rubina. Oh, you know what? Ah, man, yeah, but I would, but it's like I gotta wait until renom. That's right.
Yeah.
Because you weren't really holding me back there, but that's fine. She talks to Rubina about wanting to revisit the Women's Alliance idea. This has been floated around already throughout the day.
Yes.
And the idea would be like, let's get this Women's Alliance together. We could maybe use it to keep you safe, Rubina. And maybe, we'll see what happens with Angela and Chemo, but like, this is a potential alternative. Maybe we can work with the likes of Leah and MJ now that she respects MJ more. She does not want to work with Quinn. So maybe that's the alliance that they could get together. Now, they talked about mentioning this today, day 48 on Sunday, the day before the renom. This is kind of dangerous because MJ and Leah were not fond of the Women's Alliance discussion because they felt like when they were not in power, Rubina and Tigor, they were talking about a Women's Alliance. They were like, let's potentially do a Women's Alliance. But the reality was that they were loyal to Tucker. And Tucker, notably, not a woman. So when Tucker was around and when Leah and MJ were not in power on the block, about to be voted out, it was like, oh yeah, maybe we'll do a Women's Alliance. But we were really loyal to Tucker. Now that Tucker's gone and they're talking about a Women's Alliance again, they're like, oh, we see how it is. And they are not particularly fond of it. They kind of see right through it, at least so far. So there's a good chance that this could very much blow up if they actually do attempt it pre-renom.
I think everything you said was is factual. Full stop. Comma, but it wasn't like this isn't coming out of nowhere from my eyes with T-Core and Rubina. Like they tried to set up a girls' night last week so that way they can start to build something for this. Like clearly, like they want to do something with the women. Like this isn't just like now Rubina happens to be on a block. So
I agree with you from their perspective. I'm saying from MJ and Leah's perspective, I think that's how they see it.
Fair enough.
Yes.
But also, I will say I don't like these 5 women, especially Leah. I think if they were like, if it's a final 3 with me, you, and Chelsea, Rubina, then I think, okay, this might actually have legs. Like I can see this final 3 of women. I would not be upset with that final 3 women. But there are like just people who have other outcomes that are looking at you like, I don't want this, / I don't need this. And
yeah. And so here's the other side of it, right? The other side of it that could work is that why turn them down? We're talking about MJ and Leah, who have not been the biggest on like saying yes to alliances. MJ, she'll say yes, but Leah turns them down all the time. But Leah does want Chemo out. Now, T-Core and Rubina do not. They would want to include Chemo in this alliance in some capacity. So that could be a point of contention. But if Leah sees this as an opportunity to be like, okay, yes, Women's Alliance. Well, there is 1 man and 2 women on the block. There's a world where like they could make that work, but only potentially if they're willing to lose Chemo, which they're not willing to do. And that's where it starts to fall apart again. So, but it doesn't have to get that specific yet. If the talks are just rudimentary right now, then things. You never know. Alliance proposals they can certainly blow up in your face, but it's often better than nothing, I will say. Like T-Core has something to lose. She could go up on the block this week. She should be careful. But Rubina very much doesn't have anything to lose. If Rubina wants to go around proposing a women's alliance, I think she should. T-Core just should be a little careful.
I think T-Core should be a little careful, but I don't think as careful as you're like laying it out, because at the end of the day, it is Quinn as HOH, and I don't know how much trouble T-Core could actually get in with Quinn for just proposing a all-female alliance, especially because I think the guy's already assuming like something like that is happening or has been proposed at least.
I agree. I can see the scenario where Leah in particular uses this as a reason she's able to use the veto on Angela now. Like, hey, just so you know, T-Core is trying to make an alliance without you. And isn't that tricky? And MJ also wants T-Core on the block. And now all of a sudden, it's like, maybe we should use the veto on Angela. Maybe we should put T-Core on the block and just guarantee that one of those three goes home. I agree. I don't think it's super likely, but like, you know, if it's me, I don't want to push my luck. I would want to wait until post renom to do some of this stuff.
I think that's fair. And if T-Core's at the head of it, it will happen after renoms.
Exactly.
So it's
fine. All right. So also worth noting, I forgot to mention this yesterday, but I thought it was very funny. That production yesterday, which was, of course, the day before on Friday, was a little testy with the house guests. They were really calling them out on a bunch of things. They were like, man, production really doesn't like us today. And Quinn even came out of the diary room, was like, yeah, I think they're mad at me for voting out Tucker. Like everyone in the house was feeling it. The production was mad at them for getting rid of Tucker, which was very funny to me.
No, it really was hilarious. I think it was funny. And Chelsea was like, "Oh, they're in a much better mood today." She made that comment today, but like, truly, they were like, because what was it? Someone was like, I think it was Joseph that was like, "Oh, now the season's gonna be boring now that Tucker's gone," or something like that.
Oh, of course, according to Joseph. All right. Anything else, AJ, that you want to bring up?
Nothing too much. I think we covered most of the bases. I had fun.
Listen, it was a good time, and
Yeah.
and you looked great in yellow.
Thank you.
You treated everyone with kindness. You're really funny, like really, really funny. I don't know if you're good at cooking. Are you good at cooking?
Actively so.
Okay, well hold on. Do you maybe have, how do your nails look right now?
We don't talk about that.
Okay, all right. We didn't make it. You're not quite Leah level. I'm sorry. The word sensational not coming to mind.
Dang it.
Yeah. Close though.
Appreciate it.
Pretty good. Pretty good is the word coming to mind.
Pretty good. I'll take pretty good. Listen,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right. Well, that is what we have for you then today, of course. Please tune in tonight. There will be an episode. We'll have a podcast recapping the episode, so tune in for that. I'll, of course, be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern to update you on everything that happens today on the Big Brother 26 live feeds. That's pretty much. Check out our Rings of Power coverage we've got going on over on We Know Scripted TV. And check out the Tastemakers, where we're talking about all kinds of other shows, some fun new shows coming up. So tune in to that. AJ, what do you got going on?
I ain't got too much going on, but you can follow me on Twitter at Quinn and Norris. That's why we post anything I'm doing. I am set up to be a guest on a couple podcasts. So, look at my Twitter to see when I'm on it.
All right. Well, thank you all again for joining us here today. And I will see all of you next time.